Wherever you are in time when this finds you, it found you for a reason. That is the thing about timeless readings that I want to address before we go anywhere else. They do not land randomly in someone's feed. They do not get clicked on by accident. Something in the specific quality of your energy in this moment, whatever moment this is for you, drew you here. Recognize something in this title that resonated with something you are currently living through. You are in something distressful right now, or you have been. And you have been in it for long enough that you are tired in a way that goes beyond ordinary tired. The kind of tired that comes from sustained navigation of something that has been requiring more of you than it should have had to require, more patience, more resilience, more quiet, private, nobody fully sees its strength than most people around you probably realize you have been producing just to get through each day. I know you are tired, Virgo, and I need you to hear what came through in this reading. It is ending. Let me sit with the energy of this situation for a moment, because before I tell you what is coming, I want to honor what you have been in. Whatever this distressful situation looks like in your specific life, whether it is relational or financial or professional or health related or some complicated combination of multiple things happening simultaneously, the common thread across all of it is this: it has been taking from you consistently without proportional return, draining something in you that has reserves, yes, remarkable reserves, that have allowed you to keep going longer than most people would have, but reserves that are not infinite. You have been depleted by this. And the specific quality of depletion that comes from a sustained, difficult situation is different from ordinary fatigue. It is not something that a weekend of rest addresses. It lives deeper than that. In the places where your sense of what is possible, your baseline expectation of what your daily life feels like, your relationship with your own future, has been colored by the ongoing weight of something that has simply not resolved. Spirit is showing me that weight right now, clearly, and Spirit is also showing me something else alongside it. The weight is lifting. Oh, I need to pause here because something just came through very specifically and I don't want to move past it without addressing it. I'm getting the energy of a turning point, a very specific, very real, very close turning point that exists within the timeline of this situation. Not a minor shift, not one of those small improvements that feels promising for a moment and then settles back into the same pattern. A genuine turning point, the kind that exists in a situation's timeline as a before and an after. A point that, once crossed, means the situation itself is fundamentally different on the other side of it. You are approaching that point, or for some of you, you are at it right now, standing right at the threshold of it without perhaps fully recognizing it as the threshold it is. Spirit is saying, this is the moment. This is where it turns. I want to describe the energy of this ending because it is important that you understand what kind of ending this is. This is not an ending that requires you to do something dramatic, not an ending that requires a confrontation or a ultimatum or a grand decisive action that you have been working up the courage to take. Not the kind of ending that depends on someone else finally making the right decision or finally changing or finally showing up in the way they should have been showing up all along. This is the kind of ending that arrives through the natural completion of something that has run its course, the way a storm ends. Not because someone stopped it, but because the conditions that were sustaining it have shifted, because the energy that was feeding it has been exhausted. because whatever needed to happen within this difficult period has happened, whether visibly or invisibly, and the situation itself no longer has the fuel it needs to continue at the intensity it has been operating at. Something is losing its power, and what is losing power is exactly the thing that has been making this situation so distressful. The specific element, the specific person, the specific dynamic or circumstance that has been at the center of the difficulty is reaching the end of its ability to maintain the hold it has had on your life. Spirit is showing me something about the way this ending is going to feel, and I want to make sure I deliver this accurately because it surprised me a little when it came through. It is going to feel gradual at first, and that gradualness might initially make you wonder whether it is actually happening or whether you are simply hoping that it is. Because after a period of sustained difficulty, the natural protective response is to be cautious about hope, to not let yourself fully believe that something is changing until the evidence is so undeniable that skepticism is no longer a reasonable position. I want to speak to that protective caution directly. It has served you. It has kept you from being hurt by premature hope on previous occasions when things seemed to be shifting and then did not shift as much or as permanently as you needed them to. Your caution is not weakness, it is earned. But I also want to say something that I need you to really hear. The shift that is currently underway is not the kind that resolves and then returns. It does not have that quality. What I am feeling is not a temporary improvement in a continuing difficult situation. It is the beginning of the ending of the situation itself. And the gradualness of its initial arrival should not be confused with impermanence. It is permanent, it is real, and it is already happening. Let me speak to what has been happening beneath the surface of this situation, because I think understanding the invisible dimension of what has been unfolding will help you make sense of why it is ending now. Things have been moving in spaces you cannot fully see, in the interior worlds of the people involved, in the energetic structure of the situation itself. Whatever needed to be exhausted has been exhausted. Whatever lessons needed to be drawn from this period by you and by the others involved have been drawn. Whatever realizations needed to arrive, whatever understandings needed to form, whatever clarity needed to emerge through the process of walking through this difficulty have arrived. The situation has done what it was doing, and now it is completing. Spirit is also showing me something specific about a person connected to this distressful situation. Someone whose behavior, choices, or energy has been a significant source of the distress. This person is in a very different position than they were when this situation began. Something has happened to them, a consequence, a realization, a shift in their own circumstances that has removed something from them that was giving them the ability to continue contributing to the difficulty in the way they have been. This removal is real, and its effect on the situation you have been navigating is significant. One of the primary sources of what has been making this so hard has been weakened, not by anything you did directly, by the natural process of consequences catching up to choices. Does this feel like it is connecting to something you have been living through, Virgo? Is there a specific situation that came into focus the moment you saw this title? Let me know in the comments. Tell me how long you have been in this and what it has been costing you. I want to know. I want to speak now to what is coming on the other side of this ending, because endings that are real create space. And the space created by the ending of something distressful is not empty space. It is fertile space. It is the specific, rich, possibility-filled space of someone who has come through something and is now standing in a clearing that would not have existed without the difficulty that preceded it. What is going to grow in that space is going to surprise you, not because it is foreign to you or disconnected from who you are, but because the version of it that becomes possible after this period is going to be fuller than what was available before, more rooted, more genuine, more aligned with who you have become through the process of navigating something hard and coming out the other side of it still intact. I'm seeing renewal very clearly. The specific quality of renewal that belongs to someone who has been through something real and has emerged from it with something real. Not unchanged, changed, but changed in the direction of more depth, more clarity, more genuine understanding of what they value and what they will and will not accept in their life going forward. That renewal is waiting for you on the other side of this ending. Inhale. I want to speak to something about your own role in bringing this ending about, because I think it is important, and I do not want you to leave this reading without understanding it. You have been doing something throughout this distressful period that has not always been visible to you as something significant, because it has simply been the way you have been operating rather than a deliberate strategy. You have been maintaining yourself, your integrity, your standard, your fundamental sense of who you are and what you stand for, even while navigating circumstances that were pushing against all of those things. This maintenance has been the most important work of this entire period, not the management of the external circumstances, the maintenance of yourself within the external circumstances. Because the version of you that is going to step into the space created by this ending is the version that has been maintained through everything that has been thrown at it. And that version is not diminished by what it has walked through. It is deepened by it, strengthened in the specific ways that only genuine difficulty can strengthen a person. You are more than you were when this situation began, even though it might not have felt that way, even though there were days when the depletion was so significant that more was the last word you would have used to describe yourself. More. In all the ways that matter. Let me speak to the people who have been around you through this period, because I feel their energy is present and significant. There are people who have witnessed what you have been carrying, who have seen, even if from the outside, the cost of what you have been navigating, who have admired, whether they have said so directly or not, the specific quality of how you have continued to show up, continued to function, continued to bring yourself to your life and your responsibilities, even during one of its more genuinely difficult periods. These people are going to witness the ending too. And what they feel watching you step out of this, watching the weight lift, watching the version of you that has been somewhat obscured by the difficulty of what you have been in become more fully visible again, is going to be something close to wonder, because they have seen what this cost you, and they are about to see what you look like on the other side of it. And what you look like on the other side of it is extraordinary. I also want to speak to something that Spirit is emphasizing with particular insistence, and I want to make sure it lands clearly, because I feel it is one of the most practically important pieces of this reading. As this situation ends, as the distress begins to lift and the space starts to open, you are going to be faced with choices about what to put in that space. about what to allow to fill the clearing that the ending creates. And the temptation, particularly for someone who has been depleted by a sustained difficult period, is to fill the space quickly. To immediately move towards something new, something that produces relief or stimulation or the feeling of things being active again, because the stillness of having just come through something hard can feel almost uncomfortable after so long of being in motion. I want to encourage you to resist that temptation, to allow the space to be space for a moment before you fill it, to let yourself actually rest in the clearing, to let the renewal that is available to you in this transition period arrive at its own pace rather than being rushed past in the hurry to be doing something again. The best of what is coming for you needs a version of you that has genuinely rested, that has allowed the depletion to be addressed before new demands are made. That has taken the specific time that is available in this transition to simply be without performing or producing or managing anything. Give yourself that time. It is not wasted time. It is the most important preparation you can make for what comes next. As I bring this reading toward its close, I want to leave you with the thing that I feel most deeply from everything that came through today. You were never going to stay in this forever. I know there have been moments when that felt uncertain, when the duration of the difficulty was long enough that the possibility of it simply being how things are now, permanently, was something your mind went to in the harder moments. I know that feeling. And I want to tell you, with all the clarity and the certainty that this reading has produced in me today, that that feeling was wrong. This was always going to end. It was always moving toward an ending. The ending was built into it from the moment it began, the way all difficult seasons are, because difficult seasons are not permanent states. They are transitions, passages, periods that exist for what they produce in the person walking through them, and that complete when that production is finished. Yours is finished. The production of this period, everything it has built in you, everything it has clarified, everything it has stripped away that did not belong, everything it has revealed about your own strength and your own depth and your own capacity to continue moving toward your life, even when your life was making that movement very hard. That production is complete. And now the season turns. And what comes next is for you, fully, without the weight of what has been draining you, without the background noise of something distressful coloring the texture of your days. Just you in your life, finally with the space to be fully yourself in it again. That is what is coming, Virgo, and it is so much better than where you have been. If this timeless reading found you at exactly the right moment, please share it with a Virgo who is in the middle of something hard right now and needs to hear that it is ending. And leave me a comment below. Tell me how long you have been in this situation. Tell me what it has cost you. Tell me what it felt like to hear that it is ending. I read every single word you share. Every story matters deeply to me, and I carry your energy with genuine care long after this video ends. Until next time, Virgo, it is ending. Not eventually, not someday. Now, you made it.